Brent Fikowski here. We are talking about the air bike. So this is the classic assault bike. There are great models from Schwinn and Rogue, but this is probably the most common model, and this is the model that I have to show you how to properly use the beast technically and positions. And the most important part about that is setting up the seat properly. Once you have that seat set up just right for you, the technique is going to be pretty intuitive, but let's go through how to set up this seat first. So jump on here. We want to get the height right. So put the pedal directly in the center of your foot for this measurement. Get that pedal as close to the ground as you can, foot flat as though you're standing on the ground. Sit tall, hips in an even position, and in this position, your knee should be locked. Now this seat is too low for me because if I try to lock my knee, I either end up pushing my heel down or my toe down. So I need to lift this seat up. Let's try it here. Same thing. Foot in the center of that pedal. There we go. Now obviously if I was having to shift off the seat to make this work, then I would be too high, but this feels good. So right now I've got the seat height just where I want it. Now we're going to figure out where we want this seat front to back. All right, so hop back on the bike. Now we're gonna put our foot exactly where it should be when you're actually biking, and that is the center of that pedal where it spins should be in the largest part of your foot, so where it's the widest, from here to here. So we're gonna put that there, and then this crank arm should be level to the ground. So it should be flat with the ground, right there. Then you're gonna want a string with a weight on the end, or in this case, I have an iPhone charging cable. Straight enough. We're gonna go right here. And from your knee, straight down, this should line up with the center of your foot, the highest sort of arch of your foot, where the highest point of your arch is. There we go. Looks pretty good to me. So this is where I'm gonna set up the bike for myself. I'm on a number 9, and I am on the second little hole here. So this is where I'm gonna set up the bike every single time I'm biking. That's the most important part to make sure your technique is correct. And now for the actual technique. So we've already went over where you want your foot. Obviously your hands are gonna go on here. And the most important thing when you're training is just to apply even pressure. So you wanna be applying even pressure throughout the entirety of the stroke with both feet and with both arms. So when you're pushing and pulling, you wanna be pushing and pulling with both arms every single stroke. You wanna be using both legs every single stroke, and try not to just focus on that initial push. Try to continue to pull, use your hamstring, and as you get to the top here, use your glutes, and then finish a bit more with the quad as you push down through the entire stroke. And then the last thing is just your sort of general body position. As people get tired and as they start to sprint, you'll see a lot of people wavering back and forth. You're gonna be losing a lot of energy that way. So try and keep this midsection a little tighter. Try and look, I tend to look a little bit in front of the screen, glance down at the screen and glance back up. That tends to keep my posture pretty good, at least for my height. Depending on your height, you might look at a different space. But I don't want to be here, and I don't want to be like this. I don't want my chin touching my chest. It's going to be a little harder to breathe. So for me, my height, that is a seat height of 9, and the seat is back 2 positions. So that's a good place for me to do my assault biking when I'm on the bike. Next, let's talk about proper technique and body position for now that you have the seat in the right position. All right, now that you have the seat in the proper position, most of what you need to do is gonna come naturally. So biggest thing you wanna focus on is ensure you're applying even pressure to the entire device the entire time. So you wanna make sure that you are pushing and pulling, pushing and pulling. You're gonna be pulling with this arm, pushing with this arm, and then with your feet. Don't just focus on this 20% of the motion, let's say from here to here when you pedal. You want to make sure you're grabbing that pedal and pulling it back. You're going to be using a little bit of hamstring. And then as soon as you're not clipped in, if you're clipped in, you could sort of continue that. But as soon as you're up here, you want to make sure you're starting to apply pressure using all the muscles in your leg and not just really hammering this short portion of the stroke from here to here. You want to utilize that entire circle as much as you can. So that's one thing. This is the other thing with the handles, of course. And then just general body position. You're gonna see people start to bring their chin down to their chest. That's harder to breathe. Or they might start to arch their back. You don't wanna do that. You just wanna stay nice and long from your hips to your head. For me, I kinda like to look out in this direction. Depending on your height, you're gonna be looking somewhere different. Glance down at the screen, continue. And as you get tired or as you're sprinting, try to resist the urge to really shift back and forth. That might feel like it's easier, but you're gonna be, your energy is gonna be zapped, right? You're gonna be pushing your energy in different directions. If you're sprinting or if you're running or you're jogging, you don't wanna be twisting back and forth. You wanna stay nice and rigid. So try and do that. And then the last thing is a breathing tip I'm gonna give you, and that's just to find a breathing cadence. So maybe it's every 4 strokes, you're gonna breathe in and then you're gonna breathe out for every 4 strokes. So that'll look like, and as you're sprinting, it might be 2 and 2, it might be 3 and 3, or maybe as you're going really slow, cooling down, it might be 6 and 6. I'm gonna show you one more time what that looks like. I'm gonna breathe extra loud so you can hear what that sounds like. I'm gonna breathe in every 4 and breathe out every 4. And just take a look at my body position. And that's about it. Enjoy your time on the fan bike.